No matter where you're from, your dreams is valid. This is the Undiscovered Stories. This is the Blues Traveler, and for this episode we have a female solo artist who become one of the pioneer of harmonika movement in Indonesia. Please welcome the talented Sarah Saputri. Apa kabar, Sarah?
Baik, Pangestu.
Kayaknya for Hobotalks audience, kayaknya gue tahu Sarah nih. Kayaknya gue tahu lu di 2010 deh, Sarah.
2010 ya?
2010 tuh dulu gue memang udah cari ngecengin beberapa vokalis cewek. Nah, salah satunya lu yang menonjol. Dulu project lu apa Sarah and Soul ya?
Sarah and Soul ya, betul.
Itu tuh around 2010.
Ya, betul banget.
Cerita sedikit coba Sarah and Soul tuh gimana sih? Itu kan kayak soundnya tuh kayak ada folk, pop, ada jazznya juga. Ya gue denger tuh kayak, wah ini nuansanya agak a little bit different. Kalau Hobotalks audience lihat, perhatiin
kamu too much deh.
Enggak, I'm serious man. Terus after that gua hilang agak lama sama informasi soal lu personally. Akhirnya gua denger lu ngerjain beberapa project solo sendiri. Bisa ceritain dikit nggak transisi dari
Sarah and Soul
duo jadi solois?
Iya, dulu sama Sarah and Soul duo, terus emang genrenya apa ya kita bilang pop, jazz, blues, crossover, whatever lah. Pokoknya kita udah bikin album, cuman memang kesini-sini vakum. Terus saya memutuskan untuk solo karir.
Why? Kenapa? Lebih
apa ya?
Lebih apa? Coba sendirian.
Lebih enak aja kayaknya sih gitu.
Oke. What's the difference between berdua dulu sama Sarah and Soul sama sekarang sendirian?
Wah, beda banget sih, Tiar. Karena kan kalau dulu ada Nisan sebagai partnernya aku ya. Jadi kalau sekarang semua sendiri gitu, mandiri. Tapi ternyata banyak teman-teman juga yang bantuin sih.
Oke.
Asik-asik, tetap asik gitu dan lebih Sarah aja gitu, bebas gitu.
Ya lu ngerasa kayak ini tuh lebih gua gitu ya, lebih Sarah Saputri. And then perkembangannya tiba-tiba gua lihat lu solo karir kerjain beberapa soundtrack di film-film yang quite big di Indonesia, gua rasa begitu. Ada cerita apa sih di balik lu tiba-tiba jadi bikin soundtrack? Gua bilang kayak
sebenarnya waktu itu tuh saya kontrak sama MD Music itu
MD ya?
Ya,
Okay.
MD Picture punya MD musiknya.
Jadi sorry gua potong, yang belum tahu, MD itu dia memang production house ya.
Betul.
Jadi ada banyak film-film.
Ada film, ada sinetron.
Betul.
Tuh, pertama tuh saya di sinetron Manusia Harimau tuh 2015.
Oke.
Terus responnya bagus, akhirnya dilanjutin tuh. Akhirnya dikumpulin ada kurang lebih 15 lagu.
15 lagu untuk produksinya MD aja nih?
Betul.
Oke.
Dan yang terakhir, yang 2000 berapa itu Pak? Terakhir tuh di Ayat-Ayat Cinta 2 itu paling terakhir. Sempet di Mary Riana, The Movie juga.
Oke, Ayat-Ayat Cinta itu one of the biggest box office film di sini ya. Ayat-Ayat Cinta kayaknya semua orang tahu gitu.
Iya betul. Dan ini yang kedua gitu ya.
Oke.
Terus waktu itu apa ya? Itu pencapaian juga sih buat saya. Jadi seneng aja gitu diikutsertakan di beberapa film dan sinetron, which is itu tuh aku suka gitu. Aku suka untuk ada di belakang layar juga gitu. Karena memang banyaknya hanya nyanyiin OST-nya aja.
Oke.
Gitu.
Oke. And then perkembangannya tiba-tiba gua lihat di payung yang sama nih, gua lihat kayak beberapa ada tiba-tiba Sarah Saputri bikin solo album. Apa sih judulnya, Sar?
Pengikut Hati waktu itu,
Pengikut Hati.
2018.
Iya, gue inget banget. Ada acara apa ya dulu masih sama Jarum Coklat tuh, pengadilan musik ya.
Iya,
Gua liat
pengadilan
kayak,
musik.
Tiba-tiba lu bikin solo album.
Iya.
Gitu. Itu full album atau mini album?
Itu full album.
Full album. Ada berapa track, sorry?
Itu tuh 10
track.
ya.
Tiba-tiba lu memutuskan untuk bikin full album sendiri.
Iya.
Di luar soundtrack ya.
Betul.
Adaptasinya di situ.
Jadi memang itu kalau misalnya dihitung sih si soundtrack kalau dikumpulin juga udah bisa jadi album ya.
Bener banget.
Akhir ya.
Kenapa lu nggak mutusin soundtracknya bikin album sendiri?
Itu bukan lagu saya.
Oh,
Jadi
oke.
saya masih megang bahwa sebagai musisi itu harus punya album sendiri gitu.
Betul.
Tetap harus punya
Betul.
gitu.
Lu disebut musisi karena punya karya sendiri.
Yes, betul. Tapi
Betul.
untuk memutuskan jadi sebuah album tuh kan pertimbangan juga ya, Tir ya.
Banget.
Gitu. Karena sekarang zaman digital kayak gini kayak single-single aja fine gitu.
Iya.
Iya nggak sih?
Iya, tapi kalau gua rasa sih album tuh jadi kayak pride-nya.
Betul
musisi ya.
banget. Setelah itu album udah terrealisasi kan itu campur ya, kayak ada harmonikanya di lagunya.
Betul.
Semuanya tuh ada vokalnya, ya.
Betul.
Nah sekarang lagi
Ya lu masih jadi singer lah.
Betul,
yang
betul.
bisa main harmonika.
betul. Dan ternyata punya passion lagi yang lain.
Betul.
Saya masih pengen punya album tapi full of instrumental harmonika.
Iya, perkembangan berikutnya gue jadi gali lagi, digging lu ngerjain project instrumental, which is main harmonika. Yang gua kaget tuh inspirasinya dari beberapa tempat-tempat yang kayak spot-spot yang eksotik di Jawa Barat
Iya.
ya. Boleh cerita dikit nggak,
Kita
Sar?
sebut itu Anugerah Alam Indonesia ya.
Anugerah Alam Indonesia.
Betul, karena memang inspirasinya dari alam dan potensi daerah. Terus juga di situ ada banyak banget culture-nya juga ada yang aku ambil dan single yang itu aku rilisnya single by single
Oke.
di YouTube channelnya.
Udah berapa single, Sar?
Sekarang tuh 6.
6.
Aku masih punya utang 4 lagi. Jadi maksudnya aku pengennya fullnya tuh 10.
Jadi lu planningnya ada 10 project instrumental harp
Betul.
yang inspirasinya dari
Alam. Anugerah Alam
programnya
Indonesia.
Anugerah Alam
Ya,
Indonesia.
betul.
Ya, karena gue lihat ada judulnya Kuningan lah.
Kuningan Instrumentalists. Banyak banget. Ada 6 kan ya. Jadi kayak Garut, terus Dieng, terus mana lagi ya? Bogor juga gitu. Intinya sih masih di Jawa Barat sih. Cuman yang bikin PR tuh adalah singlenya itu outputnya harus video, jadi musik video. Gitu. Karena saya yakin orang-orang kita kan bicara bahasa universal, musik.
Betul.
Nah begitu ada visualnya, akan lebih mudah untuk mempromosikan. Jadi
Betul.
niat saya juga salah satunya adalah mempromosikan potensi daerah yang ada di Indonesia.
Di full package, you guys can check the visualnya di video, juga bisa lihat nikmatin karyanya Sarah.
Betul.
Sebagai bagian dari lagunya. Oke.
Dan apresiasinya luar biasa, Tir, gitu. Dan gini, pengennya sih promosinya tuh ke mancanegara ya. Dan alhamdulillahnya responnya juga banyak banget dari luar, sampai kayak apa nih kuningan gitu, ngomong gitu ya, kuningan gitu. Kok ada telaga warnanya biru. Jadi hal-hal kecil seperti itu ternyata
Dibicarain ya.
hasilnya besar.
Iya betul. Dan gue termasuk yang amazed sih, Sar, kayak gue main harmonika, cuman sedapatnya nadanya aja
Lu
gitu.
keren kok.
Yeah, for sure, man. Cuman maksudnya kalau you guys should check the video di YouTube-nya Anugerah Alam Indonesia, Jarum Coklat, atau di mana?
Sarah.
Di Sarah malah ya, di Sarah Saputri official ya. Lu bisa lihat di YouTube-nya Sarah Saputri beberapa karya instrumental Sarah yang ya itu tadi mengadaptasi dari karya alam ya, dari alam lu lihat ke sana. Nah, yang menarik nih setelah gue pelajarin, lu memang mainnya kayak technical stuff-nya tingkat kesulitannya buat gue tinggi, Sar. Yang tadi gue main harmonika, tapi kalau lihat lu main kayak wah gila sih nih orang. Prosesnya gimana sih, Sar? Tahu-tahu lu main harmonika, terus kayaknya kalau gue lihat beberapa nama
Awalnya
cewek
nyanyi dulu gitu ya.
Iya, yang gue tahu
bener-bener.
penyanyi bukan pemain harmonika. Terus
Iya
tiba-tiba
sih.
lu bikin garis bahwa Sarah Saputri itu pemain harmonika wanita yang sangat diperhitungkan buat gue.
Wih.
Kenapa pilihannya harmonika waktu itu?
Mari berhitung.
Kenapa harmonika enggak?
Soalnya nggak bisa main
Piano
gitar,
gitu.
Gue nggak bisa main gitar. Gue tuh pengen banget,
oke.
suka banget sama gitar, tapi nggak pernah bisa.
Oke.
Main keyboard nggak pernah bisa.
Oke.
Drum apalagi tuh jauh banget. Pernah coba saksofon, gagal. Nggak ternyata
Nggak sih.
passionnya nggak di situ.
Sarah
gitu kan.
Oz gitu ya, pakai saxophone. Kayak ada ya gitu. Kayaknya enggak.
Nggak di situ. Begitu nonton Kang Hari Pocang di 2011 atau 2012? 2012.
Gara-gara Mang Pocang lagi nih bertanggung jawab kalau harmonika.
Kang Hari Pocang gitu. Wah, itu dikejar sih, Tir. Jadi berilmu sama dia tuh gampang-gampang susah gitu. Ingat banget tuh waktu itu sama si Genta tuh hujan-hujanan naik motor demi ngedapetin ilmunya Kang Pocang. Kang Pocang di mana? Di Udag gitu loh, Tir. Nah, menurutku BHP pada saat itu tuh benar-benar
What's BHP?
Bandung Hearts Project.
Oh, oke.
Itu memang dipegang sama Kang Hari Pocang
Iya,
gitu. Dan ada
Bandung Hari
namanya-
Pocang ya.
Bandung
BHP.
Hari Pocang.
Iya,
BHP ya.
iya.
Iya. Jadi di situ tuh belajar bareng gitu. Terus ternyata emang udah nemuin aku memang punya passion untuk jadi harmonica player. Dan dulu tuh idola aku selain Kang Pocang ya, udah pasti gitu. Kang Pocang mainnya gila, soulful kan. Kan Atir tahu sendiri
Iya,
gitu, soundnya edan
Gue
sih
kerja
gitu.
sama di beberapa project sama beliau ya,
Ya
memang
kan?
one of the legend lah.
Kayak suaranya tuh magis banget nih ya, alat musik apa? Ternyata harmonika gitu. Dan setelah aku cobain sama Sarah Soul juga waktu itu. Berprosesnya memang di Sarah Soul.
Oke.
Perjalanan musik saya memang di Sarah Soul.
Karena crossover lu masukin semua genre.
Iya,
di situ ya.
dan memang belajar musiknya gitu, Nisan mumpuni juga gitu. Kita banyak banget, intinya berprosesnya di situ. Terus berarti kalau dihitung-hitung aku udah 10 tahun ya main harmonika nih. Terus harus bisa jadi kayak idola.
Oke.
Kayak Rachel Class, Jason Ritchie, terus juga kalau dengerin harmonica player siapa? Itu Walter nih,
Iya.
Sonny Boy,
Iya.
terus apa lagi?
Ya, buat gue mereka blues sessions aja.
Ada Blues Traveler
Iya,
juga,
iya,
John
Blues
Popper gitu kan. Terus ternyata banyak female harmonica player gitu loh.
Nah ini yang jarang sih. Ya, apalagi di Indonesia. Kayaknya kalau ketika gua ngobrolin Hobotalks tuh kalau lu lihat episode awal tuh ada Hari Pocang. Jadi kayak kalau lu bahas soal female harmonica player, gue belum nemuin, Sar. Jadi kayak kenapa gue bawa lu gitu, salah satunya itu buat gue lu one of the pioneer yang bikin movement soal harmonika. Buat
So
gue
that's
movement.
why aku bikin tutorial harmonika.
That's why ya, gue lihat juga.
Karena memang regenerasi itu harus ada.
Betul.
Oke, mungkin sekarang yang bertahan itu kita sebut bertahan karena memang susah. Si harmonika tuh mau dibilang nggak gampang juga nggak juga gitu, banyak yang berguguran gitu. Cuman memang karena ngeklik aja sama si ini nih harmonika, jadi aku bertahan. Sempet frustasi juga Tir. Gue 1,5 tahun tuh berhenti gue main harmonika. Gue lempar tuh harmonika sama penyok. Oh masih ada nggak ya? Pokoknya itu prosesnya gitu. Dan kenapa harus bikin tutorial harmonika? Sebenarnya alat musik ini tuh masih minoritas di Indonesia.
Betul, nggak umum
tugas betul. Tugas saya tuh salah satunya adalah untuk menyuarakan dan melanjutkan ilmu yang diberikan oleh Kang Pocang, karena dia nitip. Beliau tuh nitip Sarah, nitip ya.
Legasinya ya.
Yes, betul. Jadi ya mudah-mudahan sih responnya bagus. Alhamdulillah banyak yang jadi tertarik gitu, dan harapannya memandang harmonika tuh bukan jadi alat musik yang minor.
Ya, karena memang faktanya nggak sepopuler itu.
You can share a story, I will make you feel no worry. Somebody please tell me, I'm not start to sympathy. I can feel the sorrow and it's turning in my head. Somebody please tell me, doesn't mean that something bad, yeah.
Dia ini menjadi salah satu artis endorsernya Seidel. Nah, lu harus cek Seidel tuh salah satu brand legend harmonika dari Jerman ya?
Betul.
Dari Jerman. Prosesnya gimana sih saat tiba-tiba lu jadi salah satu artisnya, ambasador si Seidel tuh gimana?
Karena
kayaknya Asia Pasifik lu ya?
Iya. Untuk Seidel. Sebenarnya Seidel tuh dari 1847 ya, dia tuh pertama kali.
1847, oke.
Ya, pertama kali
So this is Seidel guys. Gue boleh pegang ya?
boleh banget.
Oke.
Ya. Jadi produknya termahal, terbagus, kualitasnya nomor 1 di dunia. Ini harganya ya nice lah. Intinya kualitasnya pun sama gitu. Dan ini tuh benar-benar support untuk kita yang mau main harmonika serius gitu loh. Jadi harmonika juga harus ditunjang dengan harmonika yang proper gitu.
Toolsnya juga.
Betul gitu. Nah ini tuh dia itu ngehubungin saya waktu 4 tahun yang lalu. Saya bikin musik jamming sama si Ophir Ventura. Dia tuh dari harmonika female harmonika player dari Israel gitu.
Israel ya. Oke.
Iya. Gitu dan ya responnya tetap ya alhamdulillah bagus gitu. Terus jadi si Lars tuh CEO-nya ini dia tahu dan akhirnya kontak tuh by Instagram.
Oke. DM-an dulu.
DM-an dulu gitu dan movement aku masih apa ya? Movementnya banyak gitu Tir. Dari mulai tutorial, dari sebelumnya saya nggak pakai saddle karena dulu tuh ini tuh harmonika impian saya. Ngelihat Kang Pocang main harmonika pakai saddle tuh wah gila sih gitu. Soalnya dulu tuh kayak nggak kebeli banget gitu 1 biji gitu. Nah sekarang ya udah dilengkapin berarti jadi apa ya? Jadi motivasi lagi untuk keep moving gitu loh untuk di harmonikanya. Nah di situ diangkat jadi COVID kemarin tuh
2019.
Ya itu awal COVID justru dikirim lah jadi endorser lah. Di situ jadi kayak golden ticket ya. Untuk connect sama semua harmonika player di dunia. Bukan hanya sebagai endorser saddle tapi komunitas gitu. Dan memang sebelumnya juga saya sudah tergabung di female harmonika player gitu di Facebook sih kita. Tapi itu connect-nya ya semuanya gitu. Seluruh dunia. Dan begitu diangkat jadi tambah semangat lagi golden ticket movementnya adalah jamming. Jadi kolaborasi di YouTube channel.
Era itu kan COVID case semua pada virtual lah bikin apa malah bikin lu connected sama penduduk dunia maya yang di Inggris lah, di Israel lah. Iya, gue tiba-tiba lihat lu di highlight di salah satu majalah harmonika di UK. Harmonika UK. Jadi kayak Hobotalks Saudi you should check her out di officialnya Instagramnya dia juga. Tiba-tiba dia tuh kaget gitu di endorse Seidel, terus di highlight di majalah harmonika UK. Ceritain dikit soal harmonika UK dulu ada di situ.
Nggak tahu kenapa, tapi memang mereka kontak aku karena memang movementnya juga mungkin. Yang paling diapresiasi sih gara-gara lagu Kuningan Instrumentation gitu. Dan semua akhirnya ngerembet kan. Semua karya-karyanya jadi mulai dipelajari sama mereka gitu.
Dan orang-orang jadi cek karya-karya lu kan.
Jadi makanya kenapa ada orang bilang terus berkarya tuh kalau misalnya cuman apa ya anak-anak kita tuh belum tentu punya hokinya saat itu gitu. Tapi kalau misalnya aku nggak bikin tuh karya-karya mereka mau ngecek apa gitu kan. Jadi ya memang benar terus berkarya tuh terus dilakuin sama saya.
Betul. Konsistensi itu penting ya.
Dan keep streaming juga. Karena memang apa ya bawa harmonika, harmonika tuh buat kita tuh masih aneh, tapi buat mereka di luar sana inilah adalah alat tradisional mereka.
Betul.
Terus apa yang bikin beda? Saya orang Asia, saya orang Indonesia, berarti harus ada yang beda. Scale-nya berarti. Jadi saya ngulik Sundanese.
Gue liat lu bawain es lilin versi instrumental harmonika ya kayak gitu.
Betul, itu pertama kali diangkat jadi endorsernya Seidel. Saya bikinin es lilin tuh dibantuin sama Mangkun, fotografer. Dia apresiasinya bagus, alhamdulillah. Dan ternyata buat mereka tuh kayak gila ini kata mereka ya, biar ini tuh alat tradisional kita, tapi begitu kamu mainin sama Leaks Indonesian
scale-nya
gitu
Sunda
gitu, ini jadi kok grande banget gitu. Dan saya konsisten gitu, luas banget. Indonesia punya banyak apa ya?
Banget.
Ya kan, musik tradisional.
Culture-nya, ya.
Itu PR banget Tir, gue masih berkutat di Sundanese gitu. How to make my music itu gimana caranya supaya selalu ada traditional lyrics, khususnya dari Sundanese. Dan aku realisasiin pas kemarin featuring sama Mas Kakak kan, itu di lagu Lola Love itu.
Iya, gue lihat ada.
Itu ada
nada yang memang wah ini bahasa Inggris tapi apa ya melodinya tuh Sunda banget.
Iya. Dan fokus di lyrics harmonikanya harus ada. Jadi nanti next time
jadi
harus
karakter
ada.
lu ya.
Betul, gitu. Jadi kalau saya main harmonika gitu doang ya
banyak
kurang menantang.
Oh, oke.
Lebih tepatnya.
Terus what's next, Sar? Ada ya khasnya Hobotalks nih. We talk about music Indonesia yang kita coba bawa keluar. Ada nggak dream lu untuk go global? Apa Indonesia bilangnya go international? Ada nggak? Karena dengan toolsnya udah cocok banget, Sar. Lu bawain brand yang one of the biggest name, legit gitu. Terus yang kedua, lu udah tergabung, diakui di beberapa komunitas harmonika di luar. What's next? Ada nggak mimpi lu untuk tour di luar, untuk bawa karya lu lebih luas lagi?
Actually waktu pertama kali kenal sama Lars dan Seidel, jadi keluarga dari Seidel tuh, kalau nggak rudet tuh si COVID gitu kan kemarin tuh, harusnya sudah bisa berangkat ke Jerman untuk festival. Tapi sulit gitu. Mungkin ya, mudah-mudahan kalau di tahun ini lancar, karena mereka tuh rutin bikin festival. Ada spa, ada, dan gak cuma di Jerman. Dan kalau harus bilang ya, mungkin itu bisa jadi next tujuan aku. Program ya mudah-mudahan. Aku sih masih nunggu sih dari mereka, karena harus gitu.
Ya mudah-mudahan after ini COVID udah mulai selesai nih dan aktivasinya bisa mulai running lagi. Ya, I wish you luck untuk mimpi internasional lo. Terus nah buat Hobotalks audience nih, nyambung ke cerita tadi, di akhir nih memang yang gue sering bahas tuh dream big, act big, think big. Terus kayaknya konsistensi dalam berkarya juga menjadi sangat penting. Next month, gue kepikiran mimpi gue lama nih punya vokalis cewek yang bisa adjust ke musik gue. Jadi akhirnya kita punya project kolaborasi bareng ya, Sarah.
Iya, seru banget.
Nanti Hobotalks audience to check on June, kita bisa ada project single baru bareng sama dia. And then kalian juga harus cek di beberapa official sosial medianya Sarah Saputri. YouTube
dan
apa, Sarah?
The Blues Traveler juga ya?
For sure, man.
For sure, man.
Ya kalau Sarah Saputri ada apa aja sih?
Ada semua.
Instagram, Sarah Saputri, terus YouTube, terus Facebook. Gue bilang jangan pernah underestimate Facebook.
Betul.
Karena gue pun sama. Facebook orang negeri itu masih attach di dua media platform, Facebook sama website. Jadi kalian kalau punya itu bisa dimaksimalin banget. Good luck buat semua mimpinya Sarah Saputri,
mudah-mudahan saya bisa seperti Atir yang sudah go internasional, bawa nama
saya
Indonesia.
Bisa main harmonika seperti Sarah Saputri.
Jangan. Nanti wilayah saya keganggu diambil sama Atir, bahaya nih kalau jagoan juga.
Dan dia tadi sebagai penutup dari gua, kayaknya berkarya itu penting untuk terus konsisten, karena kendala kita sebagai seniman kadang konsistensi dalam berkarya. And then once again, good luck buat semua journey-nya nanti Sarah Saputri.
Mahathir juga.
This is the Blues Traveler for Hobotalks. Solve it.
Hello, Paul. How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you for your time. We are so excited for this episode because honestly, this is the first time we're doing it. You know, Indonesian artists and foreign artists doing almost basically the same thing, same music. So we are so excited for this episode. So to just introduce yourself to our audience, where are you right now, and just tell your story.
My name is Paul Gillings, and I'm a harmonica player and singer-songwriter from the UK. I live on the east coast of the UK, England, in Britain's most easterly town. And I'm 46 years old. I've been playing harmonica for about 35 years. And I release solo albums, and I collaborate with people playing harmonica for them. And I do a lot musically.
I guess like that's a short introduction to you, because I know you have a lot of other things to tell, right? Like to me, on your website even, like I know that you have a podcast. This is something that I really want to ask as well. A lot of questions about it, but we can talk about it later. So you mentioned 35 years playing music. I know the first time you heard harmonica when you were, 11 years old. So just how did you start, and why a harmonica player? Why it's very specific? I know that you also play any other instruments, but why harmonica?
Well, the harmonica was just very accessible. My parents wasn't a lot of money, so there was no money for musical instruments. And I was in the Scout movement. I was in the Boy Scouts. I think you guys call it. And we would sing songs around the campfire of an evening. And someone played a harmonica, playing sort of English folk songs and sea shanties. And I was just absolutely amazed that all this music and all this noise, all this stuff came from this one tiny instrument. It sounded like a whole band. It sounded like a whole thing, and I really desperately wanted to play that. And as it turned out, the scoutmaster also had a small school for harmonica players. So he was teaching young people from the Scouts who were interested in harmonica and giving them a free instrument. And it was a charity that he set up for disadvantaged children. So there were a bunch of us, as it turned out, and we formed full harmonica bands, which I know is really unusual and really really strange. But it was very novel. So we got picked up by a lot of TV shows who were very interested in hearing our orchestral harmonica and lots of children playing all harmonica at the same time. And it got us pretty far. So we did a tour of America. And we did a tour of Europe. We were on a lot of TV shows. We were on the Disney Mickey Mouse TV show. I think that happened when I was about 14, so I've been playing 3 years by then. Yeah, and we were on Good Morning America and Nashville Now, filmed from the Grand Ole Opry. So we got around quite a lot. We did some quite high-profile TV shows here in the UK as well, Jules Holland. And eventually it's kind of culminated when I was 17 with winning the World Harmonica Championships in the youth section. Yes, in the blues rock and jazz melodic divisions. So two world champions really. That was kind of the sort of main career of my young days anyway. So I then took a break. I met some girls and had a family, got married and stuff, so music took a little bit of a back seat for a long while there. But that's how I got started really.
So what made you decide that I just want to continue this, and then you've been playing this for 35 years and then started to make albums, like singles and EPs and all that? So did you perform when you, like in your adult life in front of people? How did they react to it?
Well, I was in a blues band, a local band that was just playing in local pubs and clubs and not really playing any original music, playing a lot of cover versions, playing a lot of old blues songs, with the full band of bass drums and a guitarist. And I was fronting that band and playing harp and singing. It was very casual. It was a good laugh, and I did that for a really long time. We did maybe a dozen gigs a year, if that really. So it was kind of I could fit it in around family. And as my family got older and I got more time on my hands, and technology moved on, I suddenly noticed that because I'm actually a graphic designer for a day job. And I noticed that on my Apple Mac, it came with a free program called GarageBand, and that you could record. You could record yourself, you could get an interface, and you could plug into it and set up drums on there. And because I also taught myself to play bass guitar and electric guitar as well. So I could create my own backing tracks and then play harmonica over the top. And I could do this from the comfort of my own home as well. So I didn't need to pay for expensive studio time. I didn't even need any other musicians. I could do this, while my kids are sort of in bed, in the spare room, and without sort of and on my commitments as a family man and as my day job as well. So I could fit it in around, and it was great creatively that I could do that. So about 5-6 years ago, I started releasing singles through SoundCloud, and discovered how to put them up on Spotify and iTunes, and then sort of got into social media, and it's been sort of upwards. I've released an album every year now for 4 years, and like little singles, and we even joined a little acoustic duo in writing some songs, and we released an EP last year, and we've got another one coming out later this year. So it's really boosted my creativity, you know, as a songwriter and as a harmonica player. It's been an amazing journey, amazing.
I know you do a lot of things, you know, you're just a creative that is just want to share with the world. So do you want to talk about that, like about your YouTube channel, you know, like I think, yeah, quite big followers there. Like look onto YouTube and then looking for people to like how to play harmonica, you know, like all this is, I want to play blues, and I probably also check yours. Who knows, maybe, I think so, big chance. So yeah, I mean, do you want to tell a story to our audience, or like, you know, what do you do there? You know, like maybe they can check it out too.
Well, my YouTube channel is tried not to be too contrived. I try not to too much make it about one thing. So it's more about my journey with the harmonica. So with harmonica, I don't just teach harmonica. I also play in a band. I play live. I record. I get involved in other projects and little duets. And I experiment with the harmonica as well. So for example, if just anything to do with the harmonica, if I feel I've got to fix my harmonicas, I just share my life of fixing that and say, okay, this is how you fix one. So I take a moment to make a little video to do that. If I know of a little tip or trick for learning to play the harmonica, I'll share that. If I've got if I did a show and someone's videoed it, I like to share that too. So here's me playing the harmonica live. It's more of the harmonica within your lifestyle, and then it's kind of bits of everything. It's just my love, which is why it's called Paul Gillings Harmonica. It's me and the instrument doing everything that the instrument does, fixing it, playing it, writing songs with it, experimenting. So it's a whole lifestyle, and yeah, I like to share what I'm doing, and I'm very, very grateful that anybody's interested. I didn't think anybody would be watching, and I'm really very bless you. I'm very grateful that they are, because I enjoy it, and I hope it brings people half the joy it has given me over the years that I've been playing. Would be a wonderful thing to share.
That is amazing, because I guess like you do it for yourself, you know, like from your heart, and people obviously they can see that and they appreciate that. So thank you for sharing your journey, your experience, your joy playing this instrument, not only harmonica, because you're a musician, you're a songwriter, you know. So I mean, thank you for doing that, because then we can see your journey too, and we can feel your joy too. So now we talk about, like, you write your own songs, right? And then there are a couple of albums now over the past 5 years. So do you want to share, like, how is your creative processes?
Yes, I do sing all my songs. Yes, yeah.
And you design your own cover too?
Yeah.
Oh my God! This man is hard to beat. So do you want to tell, like, share your creative processes? Where do you start sometimes? Do you write lyrics first? What inspires you? What are the lyrics and songs about? And different albums. I know there's Invisible Prison that you wrote just in 2020. What a coincidence. So maybe you want to also, like, share stories about that.
Okay, so my creative process can come from a lot of different ways. I write a lot of lyrics, and I have like the Notes app on my iPhone. And if I have inspiration, or I think, ooh, those words sound, you know, it's almost like a well-placed metaphor, like using less words to say, convey a big feeling without rambling on as probably as I am now. But it's a great way to get ideas, get lyrics down. Sometimes they come from the lyrics, and then I'll be playing around on the guitar, or, you know, just having a little sort of experiment on the harmonica, and a riff will come around, and I'll latch onto that riff, repeat it, and then think, oh, do I have any lyrics to fit this? Because when I'm constantly cataloging my lyrics, you know, I don't miss the opportunity to be able to grab those. I can use those for later. So I take a lot of notes. I take a lot of mental notes. my songs tend to generally be about relationships, former relationships. You know, I'm in a steady, wonderful relationship now and have been for a long time. So, you know, not all the love songs, I don't feel inspired to write anything happy. My wife is desperate for me to write her a gushy love song, and it never happens. I usually write about previous relationships and how they fell apart and the heartache. I find heartache and relationship breakup good food for songs. And I try to write a happy one, and it sometimes comes out a bit cheesy or a bit kind of cringe.
Good for blues
so
songs,
I always
maybe.
Yes, good, definitely good for blues. Yeah. So yeah, the inspiration comes from my own life, possibly observations on other people's, but they're mostly about relationships in the main. I'd say about 90% of the time about relationships, and they can come from anywhere. They can come from absolutely anywhere. So it's a mishmash of being able to grab stuff and see the potential in almost anything that's put in front of you, or any feeling or emotion that you have, or any feeling or emotion that you observe in somebody else, and being able to grab that and go, oh yeah, I can use that as food for my songs. Yeah.
So yeah, talk about your album Invisible Prison, and then the new one, the latest one, congratulations, which is Mr. Smith. So do you wanna, I don't know, what is it about, like what's the difference with the previous one? There is one also in between. I notice you have albums every year. That's very productive of you. So this is amazing, and you produce it yourself, or do you work with a team, or like how is it like your process?
So Invisible Prison was all done myself. I didn't know a drummer or a bass player, or even at the time I didn't have access to circumstances, a guitarist. So I laid down all those tracks. The drums on that album are samples. So I scoured the internet and found someone that had recorded drum samples. So say, for example, a snare sound or a hi-hat sound and stuff. So I then cut all those sound waves together to create the drum beats, completely from scratch, and then played the bass over the top. My wife had bought me a bass for Christmas, so I played that. And the rhythm guitar work, I'm not a great lead guitarist, so I recruited my friend Danny R, who I've got the EP out with, and he's an incredible singer and songwriter, and we have the EP that was out last year, and he did a couple of lead breaks for me because he's a very good guitarist. So that was the only kind of thing I kind of struggled with. I'm taking guitar lessons now in order to try and iron that out. So Invisible Prison was born out of necessity of wanting to create an electric blues album, but not having the resources. So I knew I had those songs in me. I just needed to find a way to make the technology work for me in a creative way. And my new album, Mr. Smith, is kind of an extension of that. So I kind of proved to myself that I could do a full electric blues album. And Mr. Smith, which came out in March this year, is a bit more indie, a bit more rock, a bit more taking the harmonica, because I think the harmonica can sometimes get pigeonholed into being either a blues or a folk or a traditional music type instrument. And I was like, no, the harmonica can be mainstream, can play the music that we all listen to on the radio, that we love to. It's a real instrument. And I think sometimes, especially, I don't know what it's like where you are, but in England sometimes it's considered to be a little bit of a toy and not taken seriously. So I have rallied against that and fought against that all my life to say, no, it's real, listen to this. So Mr. Smith was a bit more sort of trying to get the harmonicas a bit more mainstream. By this time with Mr. Smith, I discovered that I can do, I discovered a bit of MIDI programming. So the drums are programmed, and instead of cutting together samples, they're more of what I actually want and the vision that I had, as opposed to compromising with the samples. And Danny R got more involved on the guitar as well, so there's more guitar solos by him. But in the main, it's me. I multi-tracked a little bit more on that one, so there's maybe 3-4 harmonicas all at once. That song, Short Straight Hair, has 3 harmonicas multi-tracked onto each other in harmony. So Short Straight Hair is 3 harmonicas played in harmony. The riff starts off with 1 and the guitar. So I wanted to show a simile between the guitar and the harmonica. So a harmonica can do what a guitar does. And then, so I harmonized up a third with a different harmonica. And then 8 bars later, harmonize up again another third with another harmonica. So it just becomes this. But the riff itself, that big riff is inspired by Led Zeppelin. And they have which is where I stole the name from the song. So they have a song called "The Girl I Love Has Got Long Black Wavy Hair." So I thought, well, if she had short straight hair, that would be cool too, right? so that's a really heavy riff by them. So I kind of, based it on that, but it's not that. But at the same time, I wanted to pay homage to such an amazing band has given me so much inspiration over my lifetime. So yeah, that's where those two come from. The acoustic duo in the middle is a sort of almost a separate project with my great friend. We've become very good friends, Danny R, over the past 2 years, and we do a lot of shows together. We've got a lot of shows coming up, and that's what I do live, because these two, Invisible Prison and Mr. Smith, I can't really play out as a live band because they're all me, all recorded there. And although I love being able to do that, I love playing live. So Danny and I do songs, and they're mostly his songs, and we do those, and I play harmonica and leave the singing and the hard work to him mostly. So that's where those are. I mean, I've got enough songs recorded to probably release another album this year.
Don't you want to have or get other harmonica players to play this particular song with you live? With you taking leads, of course?
I could do. I don't know any around my area live that could, and I don't mean this to sound big-headed, but that could play that could play those riffs the same as I do. I know guys elsewhere in the country with the harmonica community is we're a close-knit bunch of guys, and I do know guys that could, but they don't live close enough to do gigs. So that's unfortunate.
If Mr. Smith concept is want to show people that harmonica is a proper instrument, can do the same tunes and everything like guitar does, what's your plan for the next album?
Well, my plan for the next album is to concentrate more on. I felt like I've proved what I wanted to prove with those two albums, that the harmonica is real. I'm a real boy, like Pinocchio, So I feel I've proved that, and now I think I just want to get on to using it as that, and carry on the thread that came in towards the end of Mr. Smith, whereby we're just focusing on the songs, just creating great music. Focusing on Danny is a superb songwriter, and the two of us as a team, I think that's the bit I'm going to try and grow, the bit with me and him. We do have an EP that we've been talking about releasing, that we've recorded, and just integrating the harmonica more and more and giving up to the song. So the song and what the song requires is all that matters, as opposed to trying to prove it's a real instrument. I mean, there's a couple of tracks on Mr. Smith that definitely lean that way. One is called Domestic Bliss, and another one is Rise Up to Meet Me, which is very, very sort of 90s indie, I thought, and more or less just, it's got nothing to prove as far as the harmonica goes. It's just focusing on the song. And I think that's the next step. That's the progression, definitely.
Hey, I mean, that's like really amazing. And then you have a podcast. What is the name of that podcast again?
So the podcast is called Don't Give Up Your Day Job, a local musician's guide. And it's called that because I've been told so many times, I've worked in factories during the day all my life. And except when I was a youngster, like I say, from the age of 18, I've worked in factories, mainly in the print industry. And whenever I've had any music come out or people have seen my bands, they say, they always say, because it's factory, to be banter, to be sort of a bit down on each other, and say, don't give up your day job, mate. And so it's like, okay, very, very funny, yeah. So I thought, what if, because, I'd had a big journey as far as DIY musicianship goes, and as far as being able to do it all myself, like you say, write the songs, record the songs, do the artwork. What if there's other people in my local area, on my local music scene, that are struggling too? And what if there are other local music scenes around the country and around the world that need help in being able to do stuff? They don't know where to start, how to get their tunes on Spotify, how to get their album mixed, what computer to use, what computer program. So I try to cover like a different aspect, how to get gigs on your local music scene, how to get to play shows, where the guitar teachers are and what they teach you, where to get your guitar from and who looks after those things. So every aspect of being involved locally to a musician, I think is relevant for everywhere in the world. And I thought, well, I looked around and I thought, no one's doing this. So wouldn't it be great to have my friends, people who have helped me on my journey, who I have helped them, who we've played gigs together, done shows and been to this. So wouldn't it be great if we got together, once a month and talked about our experiences? Well, that's turned into once a fortnight. And now I've had 3 people around this week to talk on my podcast, one of which is a studio owner who produced, mixed and mastered 3 of my albums. And more people ask me most days, can I come on and have a chat on your podcast? And it's growing. It's growing at very rapid. Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to be able to share, and it's great to have those people on who maybe thought they didn't have anything to share. I'm finding people are sort of, I ask people, do you want to come on and talk about that? And they think, I don't know that much about it. And as soon as you get them talking over an hour, they open up, they tell you that, and they're always the passion for their music comes across. I mean, we've had guys who own radio stations telling musicians how to get their stuff played on their radio show. We've had venues, come on and say how to get gigs at their venue. So it's all hopefully really useful and interesting things being shared. Sharing the love, I think is what it is.
I would like to tell our audience to just click on Spotify I assume it's in Spotify, and it just find.
It's on all stream. Yeah,
Amazing.
sorry, it's on all streaming platforms, all podcasts. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere.
I guess that's just amazing. Maybe one day we can have a chat on your show too, on your podcast. Don't give up on your day job. It started when you work on factories when you were younger, and then now you do your day job. But you know, the message is, look, Paul working day jobs every day, but look how creative and productive he is, you know, like to continue your journey, you know, passion in music, you know. What do you want to tell to a young audience in Indonesia, you know, just want to start their music career and day job at the same time, you know, like when your parents want you to have day jobs, but then your passion in music and creative things, right? So it's always a challenge. Do you have any advice?
Absolutely. My parents, very much the same thing. Where I come from, that we didn't know any professional musicians. Musician wasn't a job. So I come from a very poor background, a very deprived area called Great Yarmouth, and no one was a musician for a living. We didn't know anybody. That was for rock stars who were off living on the moon as far as we were concerned. So what drove it was my passion for playing my instrument and being able to recreate that. And in a way, at one point, it didn't matter. When I was young, it didn't matter that it was going to be a job or not. I just wanted to play the harmonica all the time, day in, day out. And when I wasn't playing my harmonica, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to look at them, fix them, buy them. So I think it's about having a passion. And I think music can be your passion. Golf can be your passion if you want it to be. Motorbikes, wherever your passion is. And in our circumstance, it's music. Do it with all your heart, and never ever stop doing it just because, oh, I'll never make a living out of it, so I should just stop. No, do it because you love it, and that is easier said than done, because there are many times I've wanted to give it up, to say I'll never do this as a living, so I might as well stop. Well, I haven't made it yet. As a musician full time. I think there are a lot of guys that make it later in life as well, and some that don't. But as long as you're producing your music, as long as you're expressing yourself, because that's the main thing. When you're working for the man, when you're working your day job, you're not expressing yourself unless you're very lucky in your day job. So you need an outlet. You need to be able to tell the world about your passion, about how you feel, because you're valid, your feelings are valid, you're valid, and you need an outlet for that. So do it because you love it, do it because it's your passion and it consumes you. And if you make some money at it, then that's great. And if it becomes your living, then that is the dream. That's amazing. That's fantastic. But to be quite honest, I find that having a day job allows me to afford nicer instruments.
Dream big, act big, and think big. Persistence is a great substitute for power.
I wonder what love it is, 'cause I know that after love exists. I wonder what love it is, 'cause I know that after love exists. Lord, I feel so blue. Lord, I feel so blue. love it is. 'Cause wanna know that after love exists. I wonder what love it is.
Love it is.
'Cause wanna know that after love exists. Lord, I feel it so blue. Lord, I feel I'm feeling so blue. God of the devil, I'm God of the devil. We're God of the devil, I'm God of the devil. God of the devil, I'm God of the devil. We're God of the devil, I'm God of the devil. We're God of the devil, I'm God of the devil. We're God of the devil, we're God of the devil.